Hello and welcome to Impact the Borough, a podcast from the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. I'm Brent Christensen, the President and CEO of the Chamber. Each week we'll highlight what we're doing to start and grow businesses, create quality jobs, and develop our workforce. We'll also check in with our community partners to share inspiring stories and important information from across our community. This podcast is brought to you by True Federal Credit Union, a modern, mission-driven financial institution focused on the needs of its members, the businesses it serves, and our community. With 5 locations in Guilford County, including a dedicated commercial lending office at Friendly Center and a highly rated mobile banking app, True makes it their business to help you grow yours. Visit trueliant.org for more information.
Hi, I'm Nikita Green, the Vice President of Leadership, Diversity, and Inclusion at the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. I'm excited to talk to you all today about the Scale to Excel program here at the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. I'm joined by 2 guests that will provide a lot of insight about the program. First, I'd like to introduce Dr. Channelle James. Dr. James, can you tell us a bit about your background?
Nikita, it is such a pleasure to be here. You're such a professional, and I think you're going to have a broadcasting career somewhere along the line. Who knows? My name is Channelle James, and I teach at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro in the School of Business and Economics, the Bryan School of Business Economics. And my department is Marketing, Entrepreneurship, and Hospitality Tourism. And so I've been teaching for about 25 years altogether at UNCG. I had originally intended to teach and work in the area of diversity and business after I finished my PhD. But what I found through the story of actually Ida B. Wells is that when people were trying to create justice in their community, they often created organizations and many created businesses. So Ida B. Wells owned a newspaper, right? And she got information out about lynching that was happening at the time through her work as a journalist, right? And so I started to say, are there ways in which people can start organizations and transform their community? So I got off on this journey of social and sustainable entrepreneurship, and that's where I spend a lot of my time. It crosses over greatly with minority and women's businesses, so particularly Black-owned businesses. So I have a great personal interest in Black-owned businesses and businesses that really are shaped because they can be critical to the community. So that's what I do. Oh, and by the way, I have a nonprofit. Forgot about that. Community Ventures Inc. And so the whole design with Community Ventures Inc. is that we can help anybody who wants to become an entrepreneur become an entrepreneur, and particularly those who are kind of at the margins in society, who often don't have chance for people to invest in them. We support them in becoming entrepreneurs if they'd like to. So we use the model for Muhammad Yunus, where we can use small increments of money and provide somebody with something that they need to start their business and get them started, and provide them with the technical assistance. And we also talk about things like living wages, which are important to our community. And we have community dialogues, community conversations about how can we make a difference in Greensboro for everybody. So we're highly invested in social good.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. James. And so in addition to everything that you do at UNCG and your work with Community Ventures, we were just extremely fortunate to have you this year as the instructor for our inaugural cohort of the Scale to Excel program. So I want to just give a quick overview of what Scale to Excel is. The Chamber partnered with the national organization Enterprise on this new program. It's within Accelerate Greensboro, our minority business accelerator. And the goal was to help stage 2 minority-owned businesses accelerate their growth. And so using this nationally renowned streetwise MBA curriculum developed by Enterprise, companies get the executive education, the management know-how, and the business support and resources that they need to grow their established small businesses through this intensive cohort-based program. We were really fortunate to have 13 businesses in our program this year. And Scale to Excel is now a part of our pipeline. We have a number of programs to help people launch their business. We have our accelerator, which helps establish long-term minority-owned businesses and making connections. And so now Scale to Excel is this really critical part of our program. Just a quick word about the curriculum as well. The curriculum, you facilitated that, Dr. James, over 7 months. And the curriculum has 4 modules, including business leadership and strategic assessment, finances, marketing and sales, and resource management. And so our business owners went through a pretty intense experience over the past 7 months. So when you found out about Scale to Excel, Dr. James, and you were introduced to Enterprise and you combed through the Streetwise MBA curriculum, what made you say, I want to be a part of this, I'm all in?
Well, it was partly something that I knew about Black entrepreneurs anyway, but it was just the opportunity to live that out. Sometimes Black businesses are highly underrated, but they are excellent in nature to overcome all the obstacles that the normal entrepreneur has to go through, and then to also overcome the obstacles of being a Black business. To be successful is something else. And a lot of times Black businesses are underrated as they don't get as much business, they don't get as much attention. There's some preconceived notions about Black businesses that I knew always were wrong. So this gave me the chance to work with Black businesses. And of course, I was overwhelmed because not only do I think that general concept is wrong, but this was a shining example. Scale to Excel was a shining example of what happens at Black businesses. And there's some magic going on there. They have that term, Black girl magic. Well, this is Black business management at its best. So
I love it. Black business magic, if you will, right?
T-shirt time.
Right. As you've said, you've worked with entrepreneurs in your own business with community ventures, and you've taught these budding entrepreneurs. What can you tell us about what's been different about teaching the entrepreneurs in Scale to Excel?
Well, sometimes I didn't even see it as teaching as much as facilitating. Mm-hmm. My students at UNCG, all of them come with a great amount of experience already anyway, which we always enter with students that way, right? The students are knowledgeable always. But sometimes they really just don't know what entrepreneurship is, because we glamorize entrepreneurship so much in the United States. So, on the end of my students, sometimes I have to kind of say, okay, this is really what it is, right? When I virtually walked into Scale to Excel, because we've been doing this virtually for 7 months, the difference is that I had these seasoned entrepreneurs. They already knew their businesses. They were working hard. Every last one of them was working hard in their businesses already. They knew kind of the value that they created in the community and what they offered their customers, right? And so my job was to help them to look at strategy. And one of the things that I know is and with all entrepreneurs, sometimes you're so busy working the business that you don't have time to think about the strategy of the business. So I had a great time working with these entrepreneurs to think about strategy. And that was great.
Awesome. And so, and over the last few months, like you said, working with them on their strategy, you've, in addition to facilitating those normal class sessions, you've had countless one-on-one coaching with participants. You've done site visits with the participants. You've visited their CEO mentoring groups, and you've hosted a number of study sessions, all above and beyond, certainly. What have been some of those moments during all of that, during the program, that surprised you or stood out to you the most?
Well, I would say that, again, I don't know if excitement is or surprise, but excitement about the ability of all the entrepreneurs to dig deep, because we do have to do that. They have to start, they may have a strategy already. Scale to Excel asks them, hey, look at your strategy again. Update your strategy, right? They had to look through their finances, right? And, one of the surprising things or the important things is the emotional conversation that people have to have around those financial questions around their business, and really looking at how it would grow. So I was excited to see the entrepreneurs really interested in the growth of their companies, right? And, the idea that they could kind of, in some ways, kind of master the terrain of their businesses is what I call it. I saw them do that and be willing kind of to dig deep. So they had to think about human resources and what human resources meant to the bottom line of their business. So it wasn't just workers. None of them had just workers. They had critical people in their businesses that were important people that they respected, right? And they all said, I couldn't do this without this person. So I saw the great amount of respect that they had for the people that they worked with. Pulmonx, I went there and I saw Dr. Ramaswamy talk of, his crew that he worked with, how important they were, just as important as he was. So I was excited to see that. When you look at David Small, which you're going to talk to later, and you look at his growth plan and the way he talks about his crew that works with him to do all of this, but also talks about how he wants to train the next group of people in his industry, and how he's introducing, and he's going to talk about what they do at Skyline, I'm sure, but how he's introducing young people to that, providing them with an opportunity, but also feeding into the next generation of people who possibly will work with his business, or he's very clear, may own their own business as a result of his relationship with him. So I was excited to see the connection, the human connection of each of these businesses and the impact that they could possibly have.
I have to agree with you. So as the kind of manager for this program, certainly I was at all of those sessions. And I think the thing that really stuck out to me as well is how much these business owners value their employees, and how important it was to them. The questions came up over and over again about how to make sure they keep the right people, how to make sure that they treat them in a certain way so they want to stay a part of that. And in addition to that, I think it was also just impressive how many of them did more than just what they do in their business, which is plenty, but how they connected that to the community. So it's been definitely been an inspiring experience. Yeah. So, and like you said, Dr. James, we are also joined by one of our inaugural cohort members, Mr. David Small. So I would love to get you to chime in. David, can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here with you. Thank you so much, Dr. James, for for prodding our minds and giving us some solutions as well. My name is David Small, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Skyline Video Pros based here in Greensboro. We are a information technology company specializing in drone technology, but we're also a full service multimedia production company. Part of our big vision and our goal is to train, expose, and develop the next generation of creative minds and thinkers, critical thinkers, to become entrepreneurs, solution-oriented problem solvers in our community, and utilize drone technology and the power of media, multimedia, from picture, image, film, 3D animations, aerial videography and photography, mapping, and so many other aspects to engage folks. Part of our goal and even the growth that has happened in our business just during the process of the Scale to Excel class is continuing to expand our horizons, looking at the future of not only drone delivery, some of the agricultural and construction site applications, but continuing to build those relationships and find those networks, which now we are blessed to be a part of the Enterprise family and have access to that directory and that network of like-minded individuals in various lanes and capacities and disciplines. But to be able to, they say your network is your net worth. Well, we just became $1 billion company because that's the value that this type of a program has brought, not only to me, but I believe I can speak for all of my cohorts in this class and say that as well.
Excellent. And it's been exciting having you in the program, David. For one, I think we've all been eager to see the drones and maybe even get out there with them. But your business is unique in the cohort, but also your background is as well. And you've kind of been on this entrepreneurial journey for quite a while. So, with someone like you who has been who has been an entrepreneur for a while, someone might wonder if there is something for you to take away from this experience. So can you talk to us a little bit about what did you get from the last 7 months?
What I received from this last 7 months has just been a phenomenal perspective enhancing view. I already had a big vision. Started my entrepreneurship journey when I was 7 years old. Started my first business as a jewelry company and have been on that journey coming on 3 decades now as an entrepreneur. Have worked in a lot of different capacities as an entrepreneur. Tried a lot of different products, tried a lot of different models and to see what would work. And it has now culminated in what we have today and what we're building. This program, as I said to someone a few days ago, as an entrepreneur, we're always on the hustle. We're always with our head to the plow and our hand to the grindstone, getting it done. And oftentimes we don't take an opportunity to step back and see that bigger picture, to really think bigger about what we're able to do, the people that we're able to touch, and the impact that we're able to make, even on a small level, even here locally. If we don't take care of home, we can't take care of anywhere else, but we can be that model. And I think this has been a phenomenal experience and exposure for not only the state of North Carolina, city of Greensboro, and our local entrepreneurs, but this is going to change the industry. And it's going to really be a shining example of what's possible. I can't wait to see 5 years from now where our businesses are, where my cohorts are, and my classmates, to see how this program truly made not only the financial impact, the social impact, as well as being able to broaden our horizons throughout our community.
I can't agree with you more, David, for sure. I can't wait to see what you all do with this, in the next month, in the next 12 months, and certainly, looking at it 3 to 5 years out. So you touched on social impact. And so in a recent article in the News and Record, one of your cohort members shared that the program was like therapy sessions. What would you say about that? And I'd love to hear from you as well, Dr. James, on that.
That's an amazing analogy. I kind of agree with that. This was a way to in a not aggressive or not spotlighty kind of way, sit and speak with other business owners, hear their ideas, hear their problems, come up with solutions. I know there are going to be several collaborations between businesses and business owners out of this particular class, because we all are experts in different things. And we all, I mean, the vast number, we had everyone from a supplier of materials. We had a mason with a masonry company. We had someone who does public relations and media branding for large scale companies. So to have that type of a mix together with doctors and event planners, we could, Warren Buffett, if he was in the room, would have signed us all to some sort of agreement just to see what we would have come up with. And I believe that being able to bounce those ideas and things off of other business owners and people that are just objective observers, you know, without bias or even sometimes knowledge of that industry. Just, does this seem logical? Does it make sense? What would you do in this type of a situation? That is, you know, the counsel and wisdom of our elders is invaluable, but the counsel and wisdom of our peers can be just as invaluable as we're going along to make those type of impacts in our community and in our business.
Yeah, you know what? David is so amazing. I tried to get my hands on one of those drones. He said, wait a minute now, you need a license first. It just so fascinating, but he is right about the environment. I would, and you know, sometimes I teach in the area of creativity and innovation at UNCG. So I have this class, creativity, innovation, and vision. And we base a lot of what we do off of the design school at Stanford University, which uses the principles of IDEO, one of the top design firms in the world, right? So you kind of take a problem to them, and they people from different disciplines get together and they talk about it and they work on a solution to address that issue, right? This even, and we did it all in a virtual space, but this virtual space was at that level. It wasn't just me as an instructor providing information and them just listening. The dialogue and the practice was very real. And that is what entrepreneurship is. It is one of the disciplines that you must, in fact, put your hands in order to understand. And so what we saw every month with these entrepreneurs was them getting their hands in on what they had to bring to the table, and also what their cohort had, you know, others in their cohort had on the table. So that made it rich. And it was try a solution, and everybody's solution didn't have to be right for everybody. But it was like, well, what about this? Or how will you do this? Or I have this resource. Have you tried that? You know, even down to finance, right? You know, how have you used your, you know, kind of gain capital for your business, or use other financial kind of instruments and that kind of thing? Have you used it? And would that same methodology work for my business, right? How do you use your ratios in terms of your financial dashboard for your company? How do you use those in terms of strategy? And when I used it, it was this way, and I understood it this way. How did you use it? How did you understand it for your business? And so that, you know, the thing that I know for sure, if you are the entrepreneur who walks in the room because you are the biggest entrepreneur in the room, and the only person that you that gave good advice in the room was you probably missed something. And so it was a space where very knowledgeable people were willing to learn from other entrepreneurs, and that made it special. Again, same level. We were just as the design school. We were just in an online environment, but we had that same level of thought and energy, and I loved it.
Sure. And I was actually just telling David a while ago that that we were kind of on a bit of a a high after after last week, because it's been we've been together and working with or in community with, I should say, these entrepreneurs over the last 7 months. And so we just wrapped up our last session last week, where our participants presented to the business community their like capstone project, if you will, which is their strategic growth action plan. And so the plans have been a culmination of all of the things that they've learned and applied to really create this like GPS for their business. So I would love to hear from you, David. Can you share with us one or two goals that you presented in your capstone? So in essence, can you tell us a couple of things that are next for Skyline Video Pros?
Some of the things that are next for us is not only our franchise model. We've got a few locations and a few markets tapped up and ready to go. We've already done our first proof of concept with the company, New Airline Performance now, that's based in Thomasville, North Carolina. And we're looking to expand that to a few other markets. And drone delivery is going to really take off over these next 2 years as we look at some of the infrastructure things that are going to be coming through, as well as really securing some of our additional anchor businesses, really learning about that concept of having those companies that are your clients, that are your bread and butter, that keep the lights on, keep the profit margins where they need to be, because anything you do above and beyond that is ice cream. So that's some of the things that's coming up with us. We are preparing to launch the Skyline Drone Academy. Officially, it'll be up here soon, where we're actually doing an online student portal, very much so like our class, as a part of that community, to build that opportunity for drone pilots. Dr. James, I will put you in our inaugural class. I got you. We'll get a drone in your hands and get you licensed up and ready to go. But showing people so many different opportunities. It's just an amazing space. And I leave entrepreneurs, because I'm a motivational speaker as well, and a business coach in developing my business. And I leave entrepreneurs with this a lot of times. If you are in a room and you are the smartest entrepreneur in the room, you're in the wrong room. We got to be able to learn from the various disciplines. Having that, we had an intergenerational conversation in our class as well, because we had some of our more seasoned veterans that have been out here for 30 and 40 years as entrepreneurs. Got some folks that are in those first 3 to 5 years. So to be able to pick the brains and see the experience is just phenomenal, and it's truly invaluable. And I thank you both for your tireless leadership, your dedication, your putting up with all of our technology issues, and kidnapping y'all's Wednesday nights to spend some time with us. So I'm eternally grateful, and I just thank you so much.
To me, it's been the best way to spend a couple of Wednesdays evenings. I couldn't have asked for better people to spend that time with, for sure. You all have just a standout cohort, and you're right, David. The group was cross-functional as well as multi-generational, and the diversity of thought that sprang from that was just incredible. The synergy that was in the Zoom room, if you will.
This group's gonna be hard to top.
Yeah.
Out of class one, I have to throw down the gauntlet now. We're the OGs. So
well, it was. I'm gonna make y'all come back. Like, what are we doing next Wednesday? Like, I'll be here on Zoom.
Kickback Jacks.
Kickback Jacks. We're going to Kickback Jacks now. But
I want to close by asking you both just one last thing. What advice would you have for another entrepreneur who's, on the fence and not sure whether or not, taking a program like Scale to Excel is the right thing to do? What advice would you offer them? We'll start with you, Dr. James.
I would say apply for the program, clean off all your files virtually or in hand, and get ready to transform your business. You've already done quite a bit by starting your business and growing it. Now take a moment, take a 7 months out of your time and think, how can I grow? Where grow my company? What's going to be the next step? How can I dream the next dream for my business? And if you want that, if you want to be able to organize your thoughts about the future of your business, Scale to Excel is the program to do that in. And so that's all I can say is get ready, get yourself ready, bring your stuff, and let's dig down and get to work. By the way, not only do you have a great cohort, we introduce you to people in business in Greensboro. Some of those people are going to be seen as mentors for you. In some ways, they're going to be giving mentoring advice, right? We call them experts. And some of those are going to be people that you might be able to build an opportunity with. You just don't know who you're going to meet. And the Chamber has done a great job of connecting us with some of the greatest minds in Greensboro. And they, again, they aren't actual mentors, but they give that mentoring type of advice that you just always want to have as a business owner. And that was great.
I will leave you with two thoughts from two of my success mentors. The first being Jim Rome. And Jim Rome said in a speech, if you want your financial growth to go, it only goes as far as your personal development. So he said, if I give you $1 million, it's best you become a millionaire quick. It means you get to keep the money. But if you don't grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and economically in knowledge, that million will leave you just as fast as it came. And I thought that was very, very powerful statement of personal development. Spending the time, spending the resources, the knowledge and information is there. It's on us as entrepreneurs and seekers to go find it, ingest it, and then apply it. And the second quote I'll leave you with is from my very good friend and mentor, Mr. Les Brown. And he simply said to me one day, he said, David, it's possible. He said, the good is possible, the bad is possible. The great is possible, the mundane is possible. But it's possible. What you put your energy into and what you seek after most, you'll usually find. And so with that, this Scale to Excel program has not only been a deluge of knowledge, but a resource that will not just help this business, but now the other entrepreneurs that I come across in my path, I now have a lighthouse that I can point them to and say, if you're really serious about what you want to do, go Scale Excel.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
I am open for commercials too,
I think that was one, David. I will say that we are definitely at the Greensboro Chamber. We are honored to be able to present this program to the community. We are so thankful for various experts in the community participating. We feel fortunate to have the entrepreneurs who joined us in this cohort trust us with their businesses and entrusted us with helping them to get exactly where they know they want to go. We're also really thankful for our sponsors that helped us to be able to offer this program to the community. So we thank VF and Truist for their support. This has really been a one-of-a-kind experience, this first cohort of Scale to Excel. You've heard David, and he is exceptional in what he does. He has an incredibly unique business. he is making a difference with it and paying it forward. And he is just one of the outstanding people that were in this cohort. So I encourage everyone to continue to get to know all of the businesses that are in our Scale to Excel inaugural cohort. And I'm looking forward to meeting many more cohorts. We look forward to celebrating this group on August 18th at their graduation. I thank you so much, David Small with Skyline Video Pros and Dr. Channelle James for joining us today.
This podcast is brought to you by True Federal Credit Union, a modern, mission-driven financial institution focused on the needs of its members, the businesses it serves, and our community. With 5 locations in Guilford County, including a dedicated commercial lending office at Friendly Center and a highly rated mobile banking app, Truliant makes it their business to help you grow yours. Visit Truliant.org for more information. You can find all of our episodes on YouTube thanks to our video sponsor, North State. Make sure to subscribe so you'll get new episodes delivered to your device each week. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at GSO Chamber. See you next time.